Well, I met a man the other day who thought that Trump was fat. And says, man, you must be crazy. Where the hell's your tinfoil hat? But he spoke with such conviction, and he believed the words he spoke. And something deep inside me knew this couldn't be a joke. Yet why would he believe this? And why believe such things? 'Cause everybody knows that Trump's the thinnest man alive. Well, you must be pretty crazy if you think that Trump is fat. 'Cause we all know that he is thin, and that's a simple fact. So I said, what about the debates that Donald Trump had during 2016? He gave a knowing smile and told me, man, those things were rigged. But what about Donald Trump telling lies upon his campaign? What about them? He replied, you heard of Vladimir? Oh, Trump is faking everything that he has ever seen. And as for winning the election, it's clear he's never been. Indeed, my friend, he's a lying man. It's there for you to see. Just take some time, look into it, and the truth will set you free. Well, I was kind of skeptical, but I had an open mind, and what it said was interesting, and I got a little time. So I grabbed myself a blue brow, and I started watching vids, 'cause if Donald's real lying, then he's lying to my kids. And as I watched, I got angry as I learned the deceit. The Nazism deception was right there at my feet. Well, Donald Trump is taking kids away from their families. The more I learned, the more I earned, the more I started to probe. I upturned every rock of information I could find. I started to unlock the truth, the war upon my mind. I had 1,000 questions I just couldn't understand. I had to meet that man again, that fat Trump man. Oh, Donald's faking everything that Lou has ever seen. And as for winning the election, it's clear he's never been. Indeed, my friend, he's a lying man. It's there for you to see. Just take some time, look into it, and the truth will set you free. Well, I was kind of skeptical, but I had an open mind. And you know what Donald Trump did to those kids? He interned them. He basically locked those kids up in the internment camps because they were Mexicans and not somebody that deserved to be locked up. He knows. It's all about control, you know, to get inside your head. It's all about the money move. They get an awful lot of bread. $50 million, man, what could you do with that? That's what Comey gets a day to hide that Trump is fat, you see. If they can get you to believe that Trump won the election, well, things like Trump doing evil just make no sense at all. Vladimir Putin rigged the election so that Trump would be in power, so that Trump would be able to be his puppet. It's all about control, you know, to get inside your head. It's all about the money move. They get an awful lot of bread. $50 million, man, what could you do with that? That's what Comey gets a day to hide that Trump is fat, you see. If they can get you to believe that your food supply is safe, well, things like deregulation don't make no sense at all. Because the economy is deregulated every time an economic boom occurs. That's why they would allow the meat companies to stuff human flesh into the food you eat. So that way the meat companies would have it tasting sweet to you. Because it's a conspiracy of monumental proportions. Donald Trump's involved in this deregulating act. Donald Trump deregulates every industry so that his big business friends can Americans can be more free to do whatever they want and have all the kinds of monopolies that Donald Trump believes in, and then that will set us free according to his big business friends. And that's why they allow human flesh to be sold as the flesh of a big cow. Every meat company knows that there's human flesh in their meat. So that's why they basically hide all the evidence that they do this. It's all about control, to get inside your head. It's all about the money moving an awful lot of bread. $50 million, man, what could you do with that? That's what Comey gets a day to hide that Trump is fat, you see. If they can get you to believe that Trump's a really good man, well, things like cows and iPhone X don't make no sense at all. Everything that Donald says about his college is a lie. And finally, it's been clear to me about the reasons why. Trump is such a stupid man, he knows. So that he basically believes the meat companies when they say a bunch of things. That's why he allows them to cannibalize and put people in meat. That's why he's deregulating the oil industry today. It's all about control, And that's why he chains up these kids. Is because he's so evil. That Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin are truly evil. Putin hides Trump's pee-pee tape from being released so that he has a blackmail above Donald Trump on that day. It's all about control, to get inside your head. It's all about the money moving an awful lot of bread. $50 million, man, what could you do with that? That's what Comey gets a day to hide that Trump is fat, you see. Donald Trump also does a bunch of evil things that he basically covers up by lying about doing those. Everything Donald Trump does has basically been covered up, including that PP tape and that Stormy Daniels stuff. It's all about control, to get inside your head. It's all about the money moving an awful lot of bread. $50 million, man, what could you do with that? That's what Comey gets today, to hide that Trump is fat, you see. If they can get you to believe that Putin didn't interfere, well, things like all the Russian things don't make no sense at all. You see, Donald Trump's election was rigged by Vladimir Putin, because he had that compromise between him and the Russians. Everything Donald Trump allegedly got came from Russians, and all the hacking that Putin had arranged for Donald Trump was setting up so Trump could win every single time, because as Vladimir Putin tried to rig the election. It's all about control, to get inside your head. It's all about the money moving an awful lot of bread. $50 million, man, what could you do with that? That's what Comey gets today, to hide that Trump is fat, you see. If they can get you to believe that Trump won the election, well, things like Trump just helping his friends don't make no sense at all. You see, because Donald Trump only cares about himself, how he does. All these evil things are in a profit that one time. It's all about control, to get inside your head. It's all about the money moving an awful lot of bread. $50 million, man, what could you do with that? That's what Comey gets today, to hide that Trump is fat, you see. If they can get you to believe that Donald Trump's really smart, well, things like him being the dumbest don't make no sense at all. You see, Trump is so stupid that he doesn't know what 2 + 2 is. Everything Donald does is basically he's being controlled by Vladimir Putin to control all his puppets. So Putin would basically be making an awful lot of dough. Vladimir Putin and Trump have been in cohorts for a while. Everything Putin does won't satisfy Trump with a smile. It's all about control, to get inside your head. It's all about the money moving an awful lot of bread. $50 million, man, what could you do with that? That's what Comey gets today, to hide that Trump is fat, you see. If they can get you to believe that he won the election, well, things like all the Russian rigs don't make no sense at all. You see, it all exploded from nothing, not with the Republicans' idea that Hillary Clinton was lying about the Russian things. These Republicans are so stupid they don't even know that Trump is a lying man that covers up his tracks. Donald Trump was an evil being that has a truly evil scheme. See, they don't do anything. That's legal, and Trump is truly fat. He's been on the inside and he knows that. That's fact. Oh, Donald's faking everything. And that's what winning the election is for. He's never been. Indeed, my friend, he's a lying man. It's there for you to see. Just take some time, look into it, and the truth will set you free. Well, I was kind of skeptical, but I had an open mind. and what it said was interesting, and I got a little time. So I grabbed myself a bluebell, and I started watching vids, because if Donald's really lying, then he's lying to my kids. And as I watched, I got angry, as I learned of the deceit. The Donald Trump deception was right there at my feet. Well, I found that this could be true. What if Trump did do with Russia? The more I learned, the more I yearned, the more I started to probe. I upturned every rock of information I could find. I started to unlock the truth of the world upon my mind. I had 1,000 questions I just couldn't understand. I had to meet that man again, that fat Trump man. Oh, Donald's faking everything that Lou has ever seen. And as for winning the election, it's clear he's never been. Indeed, my friend, the Lion Man is there for you to see. Just take some time, look into it, and the truth will set you free. Yeah, Donald's pretty evil. Well, it's often until the sun came up and my mind was fully blown. This man had challenged everything that I thought I'd known. And finally it was clear to me to why the Donald lies. And finally it was clear to me about the reasons why. It's all about control, you know, to get inside your head. It's all about the money moving and an awful lot of bread. $50 million, man, what could you do with that? That's what Comey gets today, to hide the Trump is fat. You see? It all exploded from nothing, right, with the Republicans' lies. It's true, Nate Mullen, mind control from the Freemasonic gang. You see, it's only Freemasons that get to do these things. They're the evil people that decided and hired for Trump. Trump is pretty evil, man. The whole thing is such a... The only reason he's in the exists is to hide that Trump goes wacko. Trump is... Oh, Donald's faking everything that he has ever seen. And as for winning the election, it's clear he's never been. Indeed, my friend, the Lion Man is there for you to see. Just take some time, look into it, and the truth will set you free. Well, I was kind of skeptical, but I had an open mind. And what it moved was interesting. I got a little time. Yeah, Donald's pretty evil, man. Take some time, look into it. The truth will set you free. I did.